Good morning, everyone. This is Dorothea from Airpost Creations 2021. I wish you all a wonderful day. I hope everybody is well today. And before I start to talk about the sect Jainism, I like to read a quote from the Analects of Confucius, which reads, "The master," meaning Confucius, said, "He who rules by moral force, which is te, is like the pole star which remains in its place, while all the lesser stars do homage to it." I think that's a nice quote. And now let's go to the sect, the third sect in India, which is called Jainism. Like Buddha is a title for Siddhartha Gautama, the founder of Buddhism, so is Mahavira a title for Nataputta Vardhamana, the founder of Jainism. Mahavira means great hero, and Mahavira, he was born in 599 and he died in 527. Buddha and Mahavira came from approximately the same area northeast of India, which is the Ganges area. They came from an area where the Aryan religions were not as strong. Buddha and Mahavira came from the same caste, namely the warrior caste called Kshatriyas. This area is also an area which isn't much influenced by the caste of the Brahmins. Mahavira first gets married and has some children when he started to get restless. And after his parents died, he gave up his position and he asked his brother for permission to leave. At age 30, he just did that. He retired from the world. I think this is funny that most of the founders of religion around age 30, they just had enough of their former life and they become kind of religious, going in caves or doing other things to found a religion. While their wives stay back at home with the kids and cleaning house and raising the kids, the men, they just take off and leave. So, Mahavira, well, he starts wearing a robe of a flamingo pattern and he rips his hair out. He also starts to teach people to live poorly. They at the time already had not much to live on, but he wants them even to live more scarcely. He was a little bit extreme in his view of things. At the time, Mahavira also starts to take off his robe and he runs around naked. At that time, he meets a man named Goshala, and he too doesn't wear any clothes, running around naked. So they both run around naked now. And after a while though, Goshala starts to annoy Mahavira because Goshala is engaging in having sex while Mahavira gave it all up, doesn't have it anymore. So he is coming to a cutting point, and they from now on go their different ways. Koshala had an own small group of followers called Ajivakas, and they lasted a very long time. Mahavira believes in extreme asceticism and extreme atimsa, which means non-injury. This non-injury relates to human beings as well as animals. Mahavira is a restless soul, traveling around from place to place because he does not want to become too comfortable in life anymore. However, the monsoon season in India forces him to stay at least 3 to 4 months at one place because the monsoon with the heavy rains prevents him to keep traveling from place to place. While in India the priests are forced to stay put for 3 to 4 months in the so-called monsoon season, the remaining 8 to 9 months they are able to travel through the country. In Jainism, we have the concept of soul-spirit versus the body. Jiva relates to the soul and the spirit, and Ajiva relates to the body. Jiva here is Jiva and Ajiva Agiva. These concepts, the Jiva and the Ajiva, relate to the living world and the non-living world. While the body belongs to this world, the soul and spirit belongs to the non-living world. Jainism has a clear notion that a person does have a soul, but this religious system is more or less atheistic. There are gods, but Jains do not believe that these gods are ultimate. They are not the creators, sustainers, or guides in the whole of the universe. There is not a strong sense of God being important. What is this nirvana all about in Jainism, one might ask? Well, Jainism takes over samsara, karma, and moksha from Hinduism, and there is a so-called survival. But this survival is not necessarily a personal one. While in Hinduism, Atman relates to a person's soul and Brahman relates to a world soul, Mahavira, the founder of Jainism, believes in a more personal survival. As he sees it, the soul is kind of sticky. And over time and a life's duration, this soul gets stickier and stickier. When a person is good, lives a decent life, the soul gets lighter and lighter and goes up to the top. This soul of a good person stays and remains there on the top. This is called a luminous soul. In Jainism, no one can do anything for you to make you a better human being. You have to do it all by yourself. Although Jainism adheres to some rituals, they don't mean much because it is believed that such rituals do not change anything. There are no priests in Jainism. It's pretty much anti-ritualistic. except a few habits which one could confuse with what we normally think of as true rituals. Jainism is not a world-affirming religion. Jainism turns away from the world, turns away from Hinduism in views of a god or many gods, since Jainism has no so-called personal god and no caste system. While Hinduism regards the Jains as another caste, the Jains don't regard themselves as part of the caste system of Hinduism. There are two branches of Jainism. One is called the Chambaras, Digambaras. The Chambaras, which means sky-clad, sky and then C-L-A-D, sky-clad, they are not wearing clothes, they run around naked. These Jains are more traditional in their orientation and they are found more in the south of India. The other branch is called Svetambaras, Svetambaras, which means white-clad. These are wearing clothes, white clothes. And these Jains are more progressive, and they are found more in the west and north of India. And when we talk about the Chambaras, the naked ones, I think they mainly run around naked in their temples, because I don't think the society would prefer them running around naked in the middle of the city. So I think they are still today running around naked, but mainly in their own temples and things like that. Okay? I don't know really for 100% because I never was in India, but I assume that they run around naked in the temples in their own regions, and so the whole India is not affected by looking at their running around naked. Okay? Mahavira started with his new religion a very ascetic life relating to one main goal. And this one main goal for Mahavira is non-injury, called ahimsa. Mahavira started at age 30, and at age 42 he is called Jina, G-I-N-A, meaning he found enlightenment, he found nirvana. Jainism and Buddhism arrive about the same time on the world stage, the same time as Taoism and Confucianism arrives in China. Jainism could be called extreme because it carries the belief of non-violence, avoiding to harm any creature, to a new level. Both Jainism and Buddhism believe in samsara, the transmigration and reincarnation of the soul. They also both believe on karma, the way things are, and on moksha, liberation of the round of rebirth. Jainism, like Buddhism, was a revolt in the 6th century BC against what they felt unworthy characteristics of Hinduism. Unworthy here refers to the caste system of Hinduism, which both Buddhism and Jainism reject. teaching would be summed up in a word, it would be ahimsa, meaning non-violence, a rule which, in their determination to do no harm to any creature, the Jains often carry this to what Westerners would call absurd. Mahavira did carry this belief to an extreme. For instance, he carried a broom so he could gently keep insects away without harming them. He wore a mask to not kill any insects by swallowing them incidentally. He carried a glass to strain the water before drinking it, and also to have a chance to look through the glass if he caught anything like maggots or other insects. He stayed awake in order to not get too comfortable at night. He refused speaking to people, and he avoided to form relationships with other people. When people spoke to him, he didn't answer. This made people very angry, and sometimes they took a stick to beat him. At the end of his life, Mahavira starved himself to death. He was then 72 years old. Mahavira was what is called the last fort maker. He was the fort maker number 24, and a fort maker or fort finder is called Tirthankara, Tirthankara, which means he found the path to his nirvana, and now he teaches and shows others how to find this path as well. The fort finder is fort like F-O-R-D, fort finder, before Mahavira was called Parshva, P-A-R-S-H-V-A, and he was fort maker, fort finder number 23. So 23 comes before Mahavira, and Mahavira was the so-called last one, number 24. In Jainism, there is a term called tapas, T-A-P-A-S, which means austerity. This austerity is widely practiced in India, but especially by Jains. Jainism views the universe as roughly in the shape of a human body, a huge person, and the earth is situated at the waist of this huge person. Above this huge person are various heavens, and below are various hells. Jainism believes that after death, the soul remains motionless and inaccessible after rising to the top of the universe. There the soul stays forever. Jains don't deny gods, but they don't believe that gods or a god is superior. He is rather for the Jains inferior. Anekantevada, they spell it Anekantevada. Anekantevada is an Indian pluralism where everything can be viewed from a number of perspectives. No transaction takes place between a fort maker and a believer. One doesn't get any help but must live the right way to achieve enlightenment. This is taught so by the Jains, okay? You don't get any help, you have to do it all by yourself. You have to find your own way to live a good life, whatever that good life means to you, but you do not get any help from outside sources. Important sites of Jainism is a temple at Sravana-Belgola in the region of Mysore in South India. It is a vast stone figure 57 feet high or 17.4 meters. This stone figure represents Bahubali, B-A-H-U-B-A-L-I. This Bahubali is also named Gomateshvara, and he was the son of the first fort maker. Every 12 years there is a great ceremony where the figure's head is anointed with milk and honey. There is another site called Mount Abu Temple in Rajasthan, R-E-J-A-S-T-H-A-N, Rajasthan, Mount Abu Temple. Jainism, just like Buddhism, demotes the gods. The central idea of Jainism is Tirthankara, Sanskrit for fort maker, also called Jina. Jina means victor. This Jina succeeded in crossing over life's stream of rebirth and has made a path for others to follow. Mahavira, 6th century BCE, was the last Tirthankara to appear. So that was the sect Jainism. And now I start a little bit more. Here I wrote down a few things more about Hinduism. So let's start. Devout Hindus regard Brahman as their supreme being. He is both the creator of all and the totality of all creation, and therefore Hindus believe that their most ancient scriptures are of divine origin. The oldest Hindu sacred writings are the Vedas, and freely translated it means knowledge. The bards who first recited the Vedas ages ago were rishis, R-I-S-H-I-S, which means inspired seers, who were said to have received them directly from Brahman. Although never given officially canonical status, some of the Vedas are acknowledged even by skeptical historians to date back 4,000 years. And to Orthodox Hindus, the Vedas existed since the very beginning of time. The hymns of the early Vedas are largely animistic. Gods described in them are personifications of natural phenomena, such as the sun, the sky, and the wind. But even those Hindus who consider that there are millions of gods also believe there is only one supreme God, namely Brahman, who includes or incorporates all the other lesser deities. At least 2,500 years ago, Hindu priests were teaching that Brahman personifies and constitutes the entire universe, and that Brahman came into existence before anything else and is the omnipresent essence of everything. To the early Hindu sages, the self was that universal soul which is in each divinely created creature. So everyone has it in themselves, this divine universal soul. One Hindu version of the creation, the famous hymn to Purusha, I call that Purusha, to Purusha, is an attempt to express the final universal divine principle behind the entire universe. Purusha means not only literally person or man, but also Brahman, the highest personal principle, the supreme spirit, all that hath been. The hymn also uses the ancient religion's concept according to which the god is offered up as sacrificial victim. It presents an epitome of the essential ideas of Hinduism, and it is also the classic religious description of Hindu castes. To this day, it is the most popular Hindu hymns, forming an essential part of worship in both the homes and temples at that time. The recital of this hymn is also prescribed to the faithful for their sins in order to make amends. Strikingly similar to many tales in other ancient scriptures, the Hindu legend of Manu describes a semi-divine hero who survived a primeval deluge. Manu, by tradition, is both a Noah and a Moses, as he founded a new human race and was its archetype. So that is truly a phenomenon when you study religion. So many different religions have all a deluge, like Noah and like the Epic of Gilgamesh and things like that. So that is really something astonishing. Manu is also the Hindu lawgiver. To him are ascribed 12 highly revered books of ordinances. Scholars now believe that these 12 books were written by many authors, probably between 500 and 200 BCE. One of the strengths of Hinduism has been its repeated and emphatic insistence from earliest times right up to the present, that Hindus should learn the holy scriptures orally from a guru, meaning a teacher. Even in the 20th century, by now the 21st century, a Hindu who wishes to delve into the faith of his fathers is not supposed to do so by reading, and thus has less time than a man of any other modern country to learn other subjects, because they really have to learn it orally, the whole scriptures, which takes a long time when they have to recite it. The sacred texts are so diverse, numerous, and complicated that their proper transmission by word of mouth through the teacher-pupil relationship takes a very long time. But from earliest times, the Hindus have made notable contributions. I'm sorry for the telephone. We wait. Now it's over. Sorry. But from earliest times, the Hindus have made notable contributions to various fields of learning. For example, zero, that essential concept in mathematics, is Hindu in origin. I think that's very amazing. All the mathematicians who use the zero in all kinds of mathematics, working on problems, well, this zero comes out of the Hindu tradition. We wouldn't have a zero without the Hindus. Well, maybe somebody later would have got it too, but that's amazing, I think. And the teacher-pupil dialogues that have developed over the million of oral teachings are among the noblest spiritual discourses known to mankind. I read it again because the telephone was coming as a disruption, okay? But from earliest times, the Hindus have made notable contributions to various fields of learning. For example, the zero, that essential concept in mathematics, is Hindu in origin, and the teacher-pupil dialogues that have developed over the millennia of oral teachings are among the noblest spiritual discourses known to mankind. To Hindus, all the inequalities of life, including those of the caste system, can be explained by the doctrine of karma. Such inequalities are no whim by a divine order. Karma teaches that it is a result of man's own doing. Karma is cause and effect applied to morals. Karma literally means action, and every action a person takes, including actions of previous incarnations, have inevitable moral consequences in one's life or the next life. In extreme cases, it can affect a person through several cycles of life. No part of the Hindu scriptures is more spiritual or more popular than the Bhagavad Gita. It is a section of the Mahabharata, an enormous epic of 100,000 verses, said to be one of the longest poems of the world. The various sections narrate episodes of a long feud between members of an ancient royal family. The best known book of this huge epic, the Bhagavad Gita, is sometimes called the Gospel of Hinduism for its exalted philosophy and the wide appeal it has. It consists of a dialogue between the various warriors. Arjuna, sick at heart at the prospect of slaying his own kinsmen during a battle in which they threatened his kingdom, and the god Krishna, who is acting as Arjuna's charioteer in the battle. They stay between the two armies. As Krishna resolves Arjuna's varied religious and ethical conflicts. The modern renaissance of Hinduism is highlighted by the teachings of Sri Ramakrishna, who lived from 1836 to 1886. Gandhi wrote of Ramakrishna, his life enables us to see God face to face. Ramakrishna was a living embodiment of godliness. Ramakrishna made a profound study of several other religions, notable Christianity and Islam, but he lived and taught in the precincts of a Hindu temple. Hindus by the millions have followed Ramakrishna because he clearly spoke from the depths of a profound religious experience. The Ramakrishna mission, founded by his followers in his name, now has more than 100 teaching centers throughout the world, including 12 missions in the US, which are active not only in spiritual affairs, but in medicine, education, and charity. And this Ramakrishna, I will go into his teachings and his importance later on, because there are lots of same movements when we do the Islam. Islam, they had lots of them too, so I will do them all together in one big setting, okay? For devout Hindus, there is an appropriate mantra from Holy Writ to be recited on almost every conceivable occasion. A mantra is not a mere formula or a magic spell or a prayer. It is an embodiment in sound of a particular deity's power. Hindus believe that when a mantra is repeated 100 times or 1,000 times or even more, and the worshipper makes an effort to identify himself with the worshipped, the power of the deity will come to his help. So, when you do these mantras while you have deep thoughts, they might really help you out. Okay? Reincarnation is a basic belief of Hinduism. Every creature that dies goes to a heaven or hell or a purgatory, depending on the life a person has led, and later the person is born again. But the form into which person or each creature is born into depends on what one did in the past life. The form one receives next time around depends on what one does this time. But anyone can suffer for ages in hell or purgatory before obtaining rebirth. And Hindus also believe that a quicker and better rebirth for their ancestors can be achieved by suitable rites and by pilgrimages. So that was for today on the sect Jainism, and a little bit more on Hinduism. I will go to my notes, school notes, and if I find more stuff on Hinduism that I didn't mention here that's kind of important, then I will make another video of it. So far I haven't managed to go through all the notes because I have lots of them, but I will do that this afternoon, and I will go over all the notes so that I didn't miss important things about Hinduism, because I don't want to miss important things on it. So if I find something that I missed, I will make another video on that, okay? But as I so far have a feeling that I got pretty much the main things, but I will, before I finish up on it, go over the notes to make sure that I didn't miss any pertinent things that I should have shared with you all. Okay, so maybe tomorrow I make another video that so that we can start on Islam on Monday, maybe Saturday, maybe Monday. I decided Islam first before I go to Judaism and then to Christianity. Okay, so Islam is a huge work I have to do, because well, it has lots of stuff that I like to tell you and talk about here on my channel. So that will take several videos, because they have contributed a lot to the history of religion, the Muslims. So we do that, and it will be surprising to some of you when I tell you now that Islam and the Muslims, they are closely related to Judaism. They are actually coming from one family. People don't like to hear it anymore today, but it's the truth. When you study Judaism, when you go deep into Judaism, then you find out how the family started and how they departed, but they were once part of that family called Jews, the Muslims. This is the reason why they have conflicts today. It still impacts the relationship of Judaism and Islam still today after thousands of years, and it's kind of easy to understand if we all look into our own families and the conflicts of own family life, what sometimes can go on for years and years. It started little, and then one gets hardened heart and continues having resentment, bad feelings and things like that. Lots of families deal with it, and in the big family of Judaism and Islam, this went even further and is still going on, but we will learn about it, how it all started. It started like it usually starts, with the birth of a kid. That wasn't part of the whole picture in the beginning. Okay, so I hope that will be interesting when we go into all that, when I start Islam on Monday, most likely on Monday. Okay, so for today, I hope you all have a wonderful day. And if you heard some sounds like a wind or something, I'm sorry, because it even comes through the window. There is a storm out there. It's very stormy today, and I can hear it through the window even. So if you heard it too, I'm sorry for the interruption. I'm sorry for the phone that went off while I did my video. I'm sorry for all the interruptions. Okay? And before I go, let me have a sip of I have to, because it gets kind of funny looking when it sits around. This is another. I already had one before, because I like to use a lot of spinach and a lot of cucumber. I drink it all the time. I like spinach and I do love cucumbers. If you like to start choosing, I have a tip. When you like to have a good yield of a lot of juice, cucumbers are wonderful. Cucumbers give you a lot of yield. Also bell peppers. Okay, so to our health, let me have a sip. I forgot, it's spinach, cucumber and pears, and it's very good. So tomorrow I might come back and finish completely up on Hinduism if I should find some stuff that I forgot to talk about. I will do it this afternoon, go through the notes, and if I find more things that I forgot to mention, I will write them down and make another video tomorrow, so that then we can start on Islam. This will be very interesting. Islam is a very interesting religion. Okay, so I wish you a wonderful day, and I see you back hopefully next time. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining and listening to me. All of you who do, thanks a million. Okay? Goodbye.